In the Fuzzy Memories podcast, we celebrate the good, the rad, and the fugly of the 80s and 90s.
We're three latchkey kids who made it out alive.
And in each episode, we break down all the culture that popped, 1 year at a time.
Whether it's the birth of legends...
I'm Lyme disease free today, and I have Whitney Houston and MTV to thank. Or audacious moves.
Imagine also the poor Golden Gate Bridge. You turn 75 and people have a party on you.
Yep. I don't want that.
Or even confusing PSAs.
And the stop, drop, and roll. I mean, I assumed
Yes.
as an adult I would catch on fire weekly.
All the time!
We've got a take that will make you laugh.
We've also got thoughts on all sorts of random phenomena and the most unmitigated of golf.
Why sharks can't be trusted, people can't be trusted, and rivers can't be trusted. It's collusion.
Of the highest degree.
Uh-huh.
You were counseling me to start my remarks with, first of all, bitch.
Everyone in that room would have snapped to attention.
It's going to be basically coffee lids, shark revenge, and then maybe like Matt Getz. God, we need to do something about him.
Join us every other Wednesday to celebrate the hits, the misses, and the misfits of the weirdest decades.
If I could tell my 14-year-old self from 1990 that I would be eating in a Cheesecake Factory in
Beverly Hills.
I'd be like, we did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it.
Listen and subscribe to Fuzzy Memories on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. Hello, and welcome to Broads and Books. I'm Erin.
And I'm Amy, and this is episode number 65, Best Imitation of Myself.
This is a Ben Folds 5 jam.
It is, and when you sent me this song title, I about lost it, 'cause I was like, ride or die. I didn't know that you were a Ben Folds 5 fan.
I am. I saw them in concert at Valet Ballroom.
When was that?
Gosh, 2002?
That's some
No.
old-
Like 2005 or 6, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some old school Ben Folds 5.
Uh-huh.
I saw them reunited in like 2012 or 2013.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. And I will say I was standing next to a youth. And the youth was apparently there on a whim or with someone, had no idea what was happening. I was singing every damn
Yes.
word.
Celebrate the whole collection.
Yeah. And I am certain that they wish they had a different seat.
Fair enough. But also, you should have learned before you came.
Exactly. And I didn't stop.
No, why would
Jesus.
you?
Come on, youths.
Yeah,
Get with it.
Get with it. It's Ben Folds 5. Figure it out.
So we tell us about why you chose this song.
Yes, I picked it because I like the idea, the song Best Imitation of Myself. It's kind of about being something that you're not, having to put on a face, put on a front, for whatever reason that may be. And I thought, what a great theme. We've encountered a lot of characters that do that.
For sure. And it is a
lot.
great theme.
It
Nicely
is.
done.
Oh, thanks.
With that in mind,
Yes.
I have questions for you, Erin.
Oh, gosh.
Do you feel like you change your personality based on the situation?
Yes. I don't want that to sound scary, like I'm not the same person or no one knows me. But I think more in a work perspective, I do a lot.
For
You know,
sure.
dealing with people or trying to collaborate on things, you maybe temper certain parts of yourself. Maybe I try not to be as humorous at work sometimes, try to take things a little more seriously. Even if I think of a great joke, I usually try not to say it.
Do you use the F word as much?
No.
And that's where I am the same. I have to keep that inside.
And that's hard sometimes.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's tough because there are days that I could say a lot of things.
Do you have, like, in your mind, different personalities, like your work personality, your parent personality, your, like, friend personality, and do they ever mesh or cross?
Yeah, I would say I have more like work personality and like rest of the time personality. Like I think that my parent personality is pretty similar to my just everyday personality. Like I'm pretty snarky with my kids and, they kind of know that they can make me laugh. They'll probably get out of trouble. So, I mean, I know my weaknesses where they are all over the place, but I would say that it's more of a work thing. Like, I feel like I have to kind of put on a different, And maybe like a meeting new people thing, like in parent situations, like a parent group or a school group or something.
Yeah, button that
temper.
shit up.
Because some people don't think it's funny when, I say that I let my kids play video games a lot. They're like, oh.
Like, guess what? My kids are occupied.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll be like, fix your face because I don't like the judgment. Fix it. Okay? Fix it. But I don't say that.
No.
We have to peacefully coexist.
You're a mom, and we're supposed to swallow that shit up.
Yeah. And that's what I do at work a lot. I just
Swallow it all.
Swallow it down and just spoonful of sugar.
For sure. And, before all this pandemic stuff, we've talked about the fact that I work at home and I'm often on video conferencing calls. I'm a very different personality there. Yeah. I am, all just straight face there. And then underneath, I'm like, I don't like this. And I want to fix my face because my face being that straight is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that there are certain parts of my personality that stay the same no matter what. Like there's a little bit of me that's subversive enough that if you piss me off at work, I might not come at you straight like I would in my real life, but I'll find a way to help you understand that wasn't the route to go.
Again, listeners, you're not getting the full benefit of the direct eye contact that Erin is giving me while uttering this. And it's terrifying. If you cross Erin, I'm afraid for you.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that we're ride or die and that you won't use that look at me beyond just in the podcast.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because it's scary.
I'm nice until I'm not.
Yeah.
Whatever, So, do you think that there are parts of your personality that aren't as acceptable because you're a female?
Good Lord, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for so long, I don't know about you, Erin, but I knew there was like the stereotype of the emotional, overwrought female. So I intentionally made myself unemotional. I made myself like stone. Like nothing can bother me, which is not good for your mental health. So I erred on that side. And I think at some point I realized like, well, this is bullshit. Like we all have emotions. And yes, I'm going to be branded as a female with emotions. Good Lord. And emotions, both sadness, anger, like any kind of emotion. We're going to be, just dismissed as, that emotional female.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that you probably get this a lot, working in a very male-dominated field.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do get a lot of that.
You get a lot of temper tantrums.
I do. I somehow always seem like the safe place to just be ridiculous. Like
Which is also hilarious then, because then they point it on you, like you're the emotional one, you're the distraught one. They're the one throwing the temper tantrums.
Yeah.
These men.
Yeah, exactly. There have been a lot of times where I've employed just silence, and then after it's been over, I've been like, okay, and then I just move on to like what. So this is what we're going to do, though.
I've done that many times on calls with guys at work too. Yeah. Just like, oh, okay, you done? Great.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hear you. And here we are. But you're right. I'm emotional.
So emotional.
So unpredictable, you female.
Yeah. Erin, do you agree with the phrase, fake it till you make it?
No.
No?
No, because what if you never make it? You're just faking it forever. No, because I don't have that bone.
Yeah.
I struggle with that. Like, I can't just fake something. It just really makes me feel inauthentic. It makes me feel really weird. And so then it's just going to blow up in my face. So the fake it till you make it, I think what you're really just trying to say is have some confidence in yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a phrase I can get behind.
Absolutely. Be confident in yourself.
Yeah, you'll get there. Even if you don't know everything right now, that's okay. And it's okay to say that. Like, it's okay to say, oh, shoot, you know what? You're right. I didn't think of it that way, or I didn't look at that way. So let me go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that statement starts with the idea that we don't have it to begin with and that we have to fake it. Whereas we have it.
Yeah. And also, it starts with the premise that it's not okay to not know everything or not be great right out of the gate.
Right.
That's what I say to that. Just a...
Strong words.
So
strong words from Erin.
So strong. You would think I was drinking and I'm not.
Just like making noises with your face.
Yeah, because that's how I feel about it. It's not even worth words.
Nope.
Not even worth my time to form sentences.
Not even a full spitting. It was just like a half spitting.
Yeah, just like a... Yeah, no spit. It's corona free. What would you tell teens about trying to fit in or be like everyone else?
I would direct teens to my nice cross stitch up here that says, fuck the dumb shit.
Good advice, no matter who you are.
Really, because it's all dumb shit, especially in high school. I would say, though, that teens should feel comfortable, like, experimenting with different identities and personalities. Like, because this is the time where you're figuring out who you are. So don't try to fit in just to fit in. Try to discover yourself. And if you're, then adapting and doing things in that way, I think it's going to be much more satisfying to you.
Yeah.
As well as healthy. And everything else, fuck it. Fuck the dumb shit.
Yes. Great. Wish I had more of that when I was in school.
Yeah, because I was not saying fuck the dumb shit back then.
No, I wasn't
saying,
at all.
Like, oh my God, I need to fit in with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, guess what? For our theme this week.
Yes.
So like you said, we're looking at books, at characters, at situations that pretend to be something they aren't. They're trying to fit in. They're faking it somehow. So I picked a book I just read this week. In my week of Amy, as you called it.
I did.
Yeah.
I
took a week off just to basically not do anything. So it was around my birthday. I read The Glass Hotel from Emily St. John Mandel. Just came out this year.
You told me it was fantastic.
The book starts with a woman named Vincent who is falling overboard into the ocean in 2018. And from there, we go back in time. Vincent is a bartender at a remote, beautiful, like this hotel set in the wilderness, all glass, very, gorgeous, just incredible hotel. In 2005, she's a bartender there when she meets Jonathan Alkaitis, an uber-rich head of an investment fund and owner of the hotel.
Aha.
They hit it off. She immediately becomes his trophy wife. And a new entrant into what she calls the land of money. She describes the incredible privileges and access that this money gives her for the next 3 years she lives this life.
Wow.
Until the fund is revealed to be a massive Ponzi scheme. So it's very much a Madoff type story here. In the heart of the recession, when banks were failing and then when all of this shit was going down. Along the way, we meet Vincent's brother, who is a struggling addict and musician. We also meet Leon and Olivia, who have both invested their life savings with Alkaitis and more people. So the book then moves back and forth in time between different characters, some who live in this country of money, some who live in this sort of shadow country of unemployed and no safety net people. And I chose the book for this theme because everyone is trying to pretend to be someone they're not. Like, Alkaitis presents himself as this incredible investment savant. He knows the secret to making money fast, but actually he's just a crook. Paul, the brother, presents himself as this incredible musician, but he has a secret that he's stolen some stuff to get there. Vincent presents herself as this very happy, content trophy wife, shopping in New York City during the day, and then coming home and being the perfect companion. And all of Alkaitis' investors act like they know how the fund works, and so they just sign on because they're afraid of looking stupid, really. And all of us are pretending that we have everything under control. We're confident in our ability to take care of ourselves. We are secure that bad things will never happen to us. So I think if you read Station 11, which was Emily St. John Mandel's huge hit a few years ago, you have a feel for her writing. And this is, of course, different in subject matter, but it's much more real-world based, but it is incredible. And I advise you just dive in and you feel all the feels and just get in there. It's I really, really enjoyed it. I'm glad it was one of the ones that I chose to just kind of read nonstop because it was so rewarding in that way.
Good. Well, that's a rave review. It's
You
on
bet.
my list. So
You bet.
I'm excited now. All right. Well, the Bic.
Oh, you've been doing that multiple times now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. The book that I picked. Speaking of fake it till you make it.
You bet.
It's called If I Had Your Face by Frances John. Yeah.
Oh, Erin, if I had your face.
I know. The things I do.
Yeah. I would mess some shit. Although, as we're saying that sounds real weird.
It does, because I wouldn't want to get you in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I would take on your personality more if I had your face.
Oh,
and
okay.
I would get some shit done.
All right, good. Well, the author was actually a travel and culture editor for CNN in 2010. So she says that some of her book was based on the travels that she did. This was just published in April of 2020. It's set in Seoul, Korea. And it follows 4 young women that are making their way in this new modern world that is really only cares about how someone looks, beauty, and what that can get you. So Kiri is a salon girl, they call her, only after she's managed to secure funding to have her face completely redone. So, I mean, we're talking about like shaving jawbones, changing your eyelids, all of these things. And a salon is essentially what it sounds like. A lot of wealthy men go and hang out there with the privilege of hanging out with women that are beautiful. Nothing maybe happens there, but they establish relationships from there. And this is like the pinnacle of what they want to reach because they make so much money, and they make so much money in tips, and they make so much money being mistresses to these wealthy men. Mm-hmm. So she's achieved that by securing funding, which we find out later is a lot of the salons have really horrible owners that prey on these girls, and they offer them loans at ridiculously high rates to get the surgery because they want their pretty girls, and then basically they can never leave because they can never get that loan paid off. Yeah. Then we also have Miho, who is Kiri's roommate. Super talented artist. Grew up in an orphanage. Ended up studying art in New York because of a scholarship, but she's back. And she's in a relationship with a man whose family is elite and incredibly wealthy, and does not approve because she doesn't bring anything to the table. She doesn't have a wealthy family. She doesn't have any prestige. She's not really helping in any way that they see him attaining, any higher status. Then we have Era, who's a mute hairstylist who's obsessed with K-pop bands, and her roommate, who happens to be her best friend from childhood. And her story is interweaved throughout there of styling the hair for these people and being surrounded by all of that, but not really buying in the same way because she knows she doesn't have a place because she's mute and kind of considered disposable because of that. And then there's Wona, who's newly married and trying to get pregnant, even though her and her husband really have no way of raising a child in the economy as it is and how expensive that it is. And all of these women happen to live in the same apartment complex. And so some of them live together, some of them don't, but all of their stories are tied together. And it seems like at first you're getting their surface stories, like just what's happening. But then the author does this amazing job of weaving in their backgrounds into that to sort of see why the paths took that way, and then also what they're doing in this world that is saying beauty is the most important thing. It's the most attainable thing you can get. This is what you should be striving for as a female. And they're kind of reminded of that around every corner. And I picked it for this because they're all kind of pretending to be a version of themselves that they think that the world wants to see. But they're keeping like the best part of themselves hidden. And so as the book progresses and you see more of that, you realize that this is also really a book about female friendship and about how they can be themselves with each other and they can show each other how they really feel about things if they drop some of that pretense. So, obviously different setting, different circumstances than a lot of females face in the United States, but it is a universal story about being a female, about the pressure to look a certain way as a female, the pressure to achieve certain things as a female, and the pressure of female friendships sometimes and how hard that can be when you feel like you're in competition all the time. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I read it super fast. It's very gripping. One of the quotes that it's on the outside of the book, and I remember when I read it, it was really powerful. Even as a girl, I knew the only chance I had was to change my face. Even before a fortune teller told me so. I mean, and I think, if you look at faces as not just even just their physical face, but their personality, what they wanted to fit in better, to blend better, you look at it as a whole package. It's very powerful. It was great.
That kind of immediately made me think, we had talked about what we would tell teenagers. And do you feel like this is maybe getting worse, or this idea of having to present this version of ourselves to the world, especially in our beauty via social media and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there's an element that it is getting worse, but I also will say that I do think that there's a small silver lining with social media, in that if you're doing the right research, you can find good examples on social media. You can find people that are talking about, not body positivity, but just body confidence, body neutrality. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. And I think that that's great. I don't think that we had that kind of avenue when we were teens.
I think you're right.
I mean, unless there was a book or something that was out about it at that time, it wasn't that accessible. It wasn't right there in your phone. Yeah. Obviously, the downside to that too. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of pressure. You're seeing all the time a visual example of what you're supposed to look like, and it's not just TV anymore. It's on Instagram, Facebook. We've talked about that a lot, about that kind of fake life people put up, and then you think you have to live up to that. And for teens who are pulling up their phone every day and seeing that, it's a lot of pressure.
But you're right that there is representation that maybe didn't exist there before, both with body liberation, maybe with trans representation, LGBT. Just you can find so many more people out there that look like the real you that maybe can give you a little more confidence. And you're right. I don't think we had as much of that growing up. Yeah.
So I think that's a silver lining, is that there's a chance for more of that to come out, and there's more of an opportunity to find those types of things, to give voice to that, whether that be authors that we found now too. There's a way to promote that kind of platform. But, is that enough to counteract the other side? Not yet. Not even close. Yeah.
Yeah. We've also talked about like relationships, and particularly where it can go wrong when guys sometimes are putting on this version of themselves. It's very charming and very protective, but I think that we as women who might be in heterosexual relationships kind of do the same thing, where we present a version of ourselves that maybe we're playing a role, playing the girlfriend, playing the
we're afraid to be something different than that for fear of being labeled or
That book sounds fantastic.
It was great. I highly recommend.
Excellent. Well, for my nonfiction pick, I chose a memoir, and it's kind of a clear-cut case of pretending to be someone you're not. It's called Life Undercover, Coming of Age in the CIA by Amaryllis Fox from 2019.
Damn.
Yeah. Amaryllis is a student when her writing mentor, Daniel Pearl, is captured and beheaded.
Wow.
So she applies to a master's program in foreign service and terrorism. She's kind of galvanized by this experience, right? And because she's a smarty pants, she creates an algorithm that predicts the likelihood of a terrorist cell developing in any village around the world.
Wow.
And it is very, very effective. So no surprise, she is recruited by the CIA. And she is first assigned to analyzing classified cables from around the world and creating these daily briefs for the president. And she's killing it. So she is fast-tracked into advanced operations training, where she's sent to Langley, the training center, and lives for 6 months in a simulated world with all sorts of, like, improvised, spycraft, improvised torture situations, like living like you might as a spy in the world for 6 months, which is incredible. I didn't know they do that, but that is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's a huge part of both training agents and weeding out people that can't cut it.
Like me day one.
Like me day one. I'd be,
wait. Torture? Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Got pliers right there? Nope. I'm out.
What do you need to know? I'll tell you everything.
I know all the secrets. Good secrets.
Yeah. You know what? I'm out. I'm out. We didn't even ask you anything. I know. It was implied.
I am disqualifying myself.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Is there a sword I can fall on? Because I'll do that.
So we'd be great, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So she goes through this, and she does not quit like we would.
Oh,
she
good for her.
fully commits and is excellent at it. So she is then a spy under non-official cover. The most difficult, dangerous job in the field.
Oh my gosh.
And she is pretending to be an art dealer specializing in tribal and indigenous art, when really she's infiltrating terrorist networks in the Middle East and Africa. in Asia, not Africa. She does this for 10 years, while also getting married to another CIA officer and getting pregnant. So, in case it's not clear, I chose this for this theme because she's legit pretending to be someone else, and she could die if she doesn't pretend well. She has to know herself so well, know and remember the training that she's received, know and remember the knowledge that she has, but also has to intimately know this other person that she's pretending to be. I can't even imagine the level of mental, hijinks and mental acrobatics it takes to hold those two realities in your head at once, under the threat of potentially hurting yourself or hurting the other people you're recruiting into the spy craft. Any slip up is disastrous, of course, but it also starts acting on the psyche. How can you be two people at once? How can one of those people be a parent and a lover and still be the other person too?
Yeah.
So it is an utterly fascinating book.
Wow.
She writes very, very well, but the story itself is just so gripping and propulsive that it's remarkable thinking that this actually happened to her and that it happens to people all the time.
Wow.
Like, this is a thing. And it also really, this is one of the first things that I've seen that really describes the toll that takes, on a particular person, but maybe also because she is a woman, because she wants to be a mother, she wants to have some of the things that women can have, and the mental acrobatics that it takes, the strength and fortitude that she has to have in herself. It's quite remarkable.
Wow.
Also felt real boring after reading that.
Yeah.
But also alive. So
well, there's that. Yeah. I can't stand torture.
No.
I mean,
there is no way I could withstand torture.
No.
There's
not. I can't think of one thing. I can't.
You know what I suddenly remembered, though, was our discussion of the desert island when we would turn cannibal. So I don't know if that interacts with this. I
think it's safe to assume that we would be those people that they would be like, you guys have only been out here for like 3 hours.
But I'm hungry.
It's been like 3 months. No, you haven't even slept here once.
I really need to just go sleep in my bed.
Yeah.
Can I just go sleep in my bed?
Yeah.
My back hurts.
Yeah.
My tum-tum is sore.
Things are weird, okay? Things are getting weird in there. I don't know. Just let me go.
Just let me go home. I will tell you whatever you want to know, and I'll tell you more than you thought you wanted to know.
You want me to go to the bathroom where? No. Mm-mm. No.
Nope. I'm out.
No. I mean, kudos to her, Clearback, for starting the algorithm, because even if I was smart enough to do that and I did it, I think I'd be too scared. I'd be like, oh, shut that down. Oh, God. What did I do? Oh, no.
I have always known that I can't have a lot of responsibility because I will fully crack under that pressure. I mean, I'm talking about, I knew I could never be a doctor to hold people's, lives in my hand. So to be a CIA, no way. I can't handle it.
No.
Nope.
Well, okay, the book that I picked for the other genre this week, kind of a different turn in a somewhat serious topic for the week, but it's called Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory by Raphael Bob Waxberg. This was published in 2019. If the name sounds familiar, it's because he's the creator of BoJack Horseman.
Oh.
This is a collection of short stories that he put out, and they are funny, really funny, darkly funny, just funny.
Great.
Yeah. Ostensibly, the collection is about love, like different aspects of love, different aspects of a relationship. But I think that really at the heart of most of the stories is being true to who you are, or what happens when we fake something to get into the relationship or get someone to like us, and then the unraveling from there. So one of the stories is about a couple whose parents keep interfering in their wedding planning because they can't agree on how many goats will be sacrificed as part of the ceremony. And this calls into question their whole
Oh
relationship.
boy, yeah.
There's another story about meeting someone that you're no longer in a relationship for lunch, and it's written as though you're the person sitting there waiting for them to come, and like how that's going to go. Another is just a partial list of lies that we told each other, including, I never have more than 2 drinks. I never have more than 5 drinks. That is funny. I have this thing for work. Somehow playing out the demise of a whole relationship just by listing these lies that, we tell. But my favorite story in the whole collection, it's second to last. It's called More of You That You Already Are. And this is probably my favorite short story I've read. I would put it up there.
Wow.
Ever. Yeah. For different reasons. It goes in its own category. One, because I laughed out loud multiple times. I mean, had to stop and reread it because it was so funny. Because the premise of this story is that there's a narrator that works at a theme park of presidents. So he plays a president in the theme park. But there's a whole hierarchy in the theme park based on what president you are, because that's how much money you bring in.
Oh my gosh.
He happens to be President Arthur. So
I have no idea when Arthur was. I recognize the name, but I don't know timing. I don't know any of that.
So he's worried because there's about to be a round of layoffs for presidents that aren't pulling their weight. And he's pretty sure Arthur's on the chopping block because nobody comes to see him.
Nope.
Nobody wants an autograph. Doesn't even have any merchandise in the gift shop to buy. So he's worried. But he's also falling in love with the lady that helps with the costumes. Gets all these presidents together. And so the story takes you through different days in the theme park of all these guys that play these presidents coming in, getting their costumes, how they're arguing with each other, the manager's pep talks, him dealing with this woman who is doing something on the side that he's not totally okay with, but he's going to do it because he likes her. But underneath, it's just so much about just being honest and true to yourself and knowing yourself and being comfortable in that and saying that's enough. And I'll find the person that thinks that that's enough. I love it. And I love that it's a great example of there are times when a relationship is worth stretching for, but there are also times when you need to keep a firm boundary. And that's what I really think that this story is about. It's terrific.
Excellent.
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
What president would you play?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I know, there'd obviously have to be some gender bending involved because, no one of our species has been elected.
What you got to do. Like, I mean, this is going to sound morbid, but I would play a Lincoln if I got to do the death scene. I would, because I think that'd be great. Just every day getting hit by a bullet. And I mean, that sounds like fun to me. Playing that up to an audience.
Yeah.
I think.
I have recently, and don't judge me, but I've just been introduced to Hamilton. Now
I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've known this is a thing.
Yes.
You can't be in the world and not know Hamilton is a thing. I've just never seen the show. I've never listened to the soundtrack, and it came out on Disney Plus last weekend, so I watched it. I liked it. It was great. I'm not a huge musicals fan, but I enjoyed it. I would be, though, Thomas Jefferson in the Hamilton.
Okay.
Because Daveed Diggs, the original cast member that did it, just seems to be having so much fun. I want to do that.
Okay.
And he kind of seems like a dick, so I want to play.
You get best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do.
I maybe also like this story because it reminded me of our discussion about the Hall of Presidents at Disney. Yeah.
You were the one super fan
I was
there. Yeah.
I wonder if they auctioned that off. Like, what they do with all those wax figures of those presidents.
I'm imagining now them like the Chuck E. Cheese robots presidents. Like the band, the robot band of the bears. Was that Chuck E. Cheese? Okay.
Those are horrifying.
I know they're horrifying.
What
I'm
is
imagining
that?
like a group of presidents doing the same thing. The real jerky moves. Do this. Yeah.
You know, when you think about Chuck E. Cheese, that's really where Grimace should have been. Grimace didn't belong to McDonald's. He belonged there.
Yeah, and this harkens back to your question from the very start of what the hell is Grimace?
Yeah, because at Chuck E. Cheese, what are the hell are any of those things?
They?
That would just fit. A purple blob?
Yeah.
I get it. Fine. Done. McDonald's, they were very clear cut.
Except for
Grimace.
Yeah.
Purple and triangular and...
You know what? There's a picture of me that I don't know if I still have it, but I'm maybe like 4 or 5, and I'm next to like a Chuck E. Cheese type character, or like, you know, an adult dressed as like a character. And I'm smiling in that picture, but I am masking a deep pain because I remember being terrified of those things.
Yes.
And also wondering, why do I have to take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, were they designed to scare the shit out of little kids, do you think? Because it worked.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they didn't test it on any market before they rolled it out. That's for sure. Because I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Gave us nightmares forever.
If there was a chance that I could get my hands on those presidents, I think that I would set up something on the porch that had like a curtain. Mm-hmm. And if you rang the doorbell...
Are you saying on my porch or on your porch?
Well, I was actually thinking of your porch.
I thought you were, because, yeah, you were...
But I would do it on my own,
okay.
if this
no,
bothers
we can do
you.
it on my porch,
okay.
Sure.
If someone rang the doorbell, the curtain opens,
Oh,
okay?
my God.
And then they do something. We could change it, like, for every so often. Like, every quarter, there's a new, theme. Like, one, it could just be Lincoln, fourscore, and, doing the whole robotic movement. Another, we could have them do a song from Hamilton. Like, people just wouldn't know.
Uh-huh.
And then it would just shut. And then people would be like, well, what happens now? We'd be like, well, we're not home. So that's what you get.
Wow. I'm also picturing it now, like, because for my porch, there's a part that faces a busy street, and then there's a wraparound part. I'm picturing them in the wraparound part. So, like, when cars go up the street, they see this just, like, these giant shape and these figures. We're like, what in the actual...
What is that happening? What is happening? But, if you do it right, you could get listed in a bunch of, like, best of Des Moines things. Like,
I could.
If you're visiting Des Moines, you need to stop by the presidential porch.
But man, that means people will come by. I don't like people coming by.
We can have a red rope.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. Stay back.
Yeah.
And drop your donations.
Don't even try and knock on this door.
Yeah.
I am not coming to the door. Especially in Corona. I don't want the Rona from you.
And I think they could have the side benefit of you and I. We could voice the character sometimes, so we could sit inside and just say things.
Okay, that I'm down for.
That would be great.
Yeah. I want Lincoln to say, fuck the dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want Jefferson to start singing, What Did I Miss? From Hamilton.
Yes.
Yeah. And it would be me singing it. And they'd be like, oh, no.
No.
Who's singing that? It's not good.
Is that
Huh.
Bold choice. Bold
Yep.
choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of ideas we just came up with. And
And I'm trying to remember how many, I mean, there was a lot in that Hall of Presidents. I mean, you could really do some decorating.
We could.
You could keep one in your car all the time for carpool lanes. People just look over and be like, what is that? What?
I bet you could get like a
Theodore
package.
Roosevelt? What?
I bet you could get a package price for all the presidents for like $50 these days.
I would hope, but
Yeah.
I bet someone has them.
I bet
Some
someone has
engineer
them.
at Disney got their hands on that. He was about to retire, and he's like, all I want is a Hall of Presidents, and they're like, fine.
Yeah.
And then someday, 100 years from now, his kids are going to sell them for millions of dollars.
Yep.
And I'm going to be salty about it.
Damn you youths, future youths
Yeah.
that don't exist yet. Oh boy, in a pop culture pick that has no relance to that
Okay,
discussion
good.
at all.
Hard pivot.
I chose a movie from 2010 called Easy A. Have you ever seen this movie?
I have.
It's got Emma Stone, Patricia Clarkson, and Stanley Tucci are her parents. It's got Lisa Kudrow as a teacher, and it's got Penn Badgley, our favorite serial killer from You now.
He's pretty great.
Yeah. So this was before Emma Stone was a star, before she got an Oscar. She's playing a teenager, and she probably was still a teenager in life at this point. She is so charming. She's so funny. Like, I have watched this movie multiple times as a result. It's a very, like, safe movie. Like my happy movie. You know? So Emma Stone plays Olive, a very smart girl on the fringes of school, strata. And one day, to get her sort of horned up friend off of her back, she lies and says that she lost her virginity to this random college dude. That rumor spreads, and suddenly Olive is a world-class slut. Then, to help out a closeted gay friend who is trying to pretend that he's straight, they put on a performance at a party to act like they had sex. And he's celebrated. It's great. She, of course, is shamed. Seeing that double standard, she becomes furious, and she decides to act like what they all think she is, a tarted up, scarlet-letter-wearing, fallen lady. And from there, all sorts of comedies of errors follow. You know, there's an adulterous teacher in the mix, there's an evangelical kid with an STD, there's the school mascot, there's her wonderful, loving, hilarious parents. And I chose it for this theme because I think sex is so loaded, especially for girls anyway. And what's funny is she turns it on her head and she says, oh, you're going to call me a slut? Cool. I'll pretend that I am. And I'll be the best slut there is.
Yeah.
So there you go. And in the process, show you how hypocritical and awful you're being. I think everyone in this movie is a delight. You really see how Emma became the star that she is. And it's just a fun movie.
It is a good movie.
With a slight take on the Scarlet Letter, but way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Improvement. Well, I actually picked a movie as well that is streaming on Hulu now. You can watch it right now. It's called Palm Springs.
I wanted to watch that this weekend, and I haven't yet.
Yes, it's with Andy Samberg and Christian Milioti.
You're a fan of Andy Samberg.
I am. He gets me every time.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
His facial expressions make me laugh. So I was already in, to be fair. Already in. So if you haven't heard of this at all, it was actually one of the highest paid films at Sundance. Hulu paid that much for it. And you can see why, because it's like the perfect streaming movie. Like, it's perfect. It's kind of a modern take on Groundhog Day. So the idea is that this Andy Samberg's character is waking up in an infinite time loop every day, and he accidentally gets Kristen Milioti's character Sarah in it as well. And so the movie is them trying to figure out how to get out, and how do they live in this world where everything's the same every day for them, but they can do different things. The day doesn't progress exactly the same. So it's super funny. And it's light in a weird way, because it's really actually dealing with pretty heavy themes of, like, what's the meaning of life? When you feel like you're in a rut doing the same thing day after day after day. If you are doing that, is that all there is to you? You know, can you change? So I picked it for this theme because especially at the beginning, Andy Samberg's character is very jaded and doesn't care about anything, and that's really a front, because he's trying to protect himself because he's in this situation he can't get out of. So he's trying not to express too much feeling, or he keeps constantly saying he's just trying to keep his life simple. He's just going to keep going through this day after day after day. And I thought it was brilliantly done. It's really funny. Like I said, it's got a heavy theme, but they do it in such a light way. I mean, they can't die, so they can try to commit suicide. They can get hurt. They feel pain, but they just wake up the next day again. So you can imagine the lots of hilarious scenes they come up with involving death. So and I should also mention that the day that he is stuck in is a day that he was a date for someone at a wedding. And the Sarah that he accidentally brings into it is the sister of the bride at the wedding. And so he keeps waking up the same day every day, having to go as a guest to this wedding.
Oh, what a terrible
But hilarious when you see him living it out. Okay. So I highly recommend. It was pretty short. It was pretty quick. And it's kind of tender in a way that I didn't expect. And, I enjoyed it. I think it's the perfect kind of streaming thing. I think it... in terms of, like, big, grand movies that are going to change your life, no, keep your expectations lower. But it's still great. It's funny. Yeah. And it's Andy Samberg.
It's Andy Samberg. And that's all you need. That's all I need.
It's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some great just one-liners in there that glorious.
What do you think it is about Andy Samberg, besides, being hilarious? And I think you and I have both talked about him being very oddly attractive, too.
I think what it is? It's, for me, it's like his just vulnerability. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't always look good at what he's doing. And he just goes for it anyway. Care. Yeah. And, I mean, I love humor that's backed by, like, wit. That can be funny. I mean, because there's an amount of physical comedy in this, too. But then there's also really, like, deep, funny stuff that I always have an appreciation for, that kind of writing and ability. And he really exhibits that.
I remember in the second season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he admits feelings for Amy, and he says it in the, like, I like you, romantic styles. Yeah. And that just made me. I loved that so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always kind of liked him, but I was like, yep. That does it for me.
That's a great line. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Romantic styles.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in here. Just some classic Andy Samberg you're going to like. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Man, we got some stuff fresh, hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses.
Yeah.
Get to it. Don't go to Chuck E. Cheese. Stay home and watch this.
Don't go to Chuck E. Cheese. And hey, if you've got a line on one of those presidents, let Erin know.
Please.
She's on the hunt.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to find them
Yes.
across the world.
I'll
somewhere.
take it. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to whittle me one, I'll even take that. If you got a woodwork.
A life-size one? That's gonna
I don't care what
Okay.
size it is. Just get those something to do. Take up woodworking for me.
You know what you need is a coloring book with all the presidents.
Ooh.
Because, you like coloring books.
I do.
And then you could get real creative with the presidents. Make them who you want them to be. What if you put them all in drag?
That could be something.
That could be something.
That could be something.
That'd be a great idea for a drag show, too.
Why couldn't we do that on our porch idea? We could just
do
redress
that.
them, and people would be a little confused at first, like, is that Abraham Lincoln?
In a dress?
Yeah.
He looks good in a dress.
Well, he's got those legs. Long-legged Lincoln,
I bet President Arthur looks terrible in a dress.
Yeah, he's not bringing a lot to the table.
No.
I mean, good for you. You made it. but
Yeah.
That's an example right there. That'll tell you. That's everything you need to know right there. You can still make it to the top and be a nobody. So just be your best self. Because
Just think of Arthur.
just think of President Arthur.
Yeah. You don't need to imitate it. Be yourself.
Yeah. Can you imagine what it was like for him out of office after he was done? He
Oh,
was just
man.
like, they forgot to even send Secret
Yeah.
Service. Okay. Nobody cares.
I've been left off the list of presidents already.
Yeah. I made it to the top, and there was nothing for me.
Nothing.
Nothing. Rest of my life, bleak.
Man. Well, we like to end our episodes on a positive note. That's a real positive one.
Yeah. Probably should have taken one to the brain, I guess. Okay, remembered, Arthur. Yeah, so
We'll be back, though,
we will.
next Wednesday.
Sure will. Happy reading.
I'm up again. Same night, another dream. Before trying this recording thing, I didn't remember much of anything of these dreams. I didn't remember much from any of the women. And one night of doing this, and it's broken things open. The dreams they're in me, and they're coming out of me, and
Talk to me. I am not broken. I am the most whole, most real.
cause their despair. I wait for the word. Witch.
Look at the mad woman in her cage. She was a woman with holes inside her. That was the heaviest factor, the final evidence, the heart of the issue.
Somehow, you understand this. You hear me. Wherever you are, whatever this is, you... This isn't a dream journal anymore. It's not. It's just fact. Because now this is some sort of record. What are these dreams? Maybe there's a better question. Who are these women? Weird Woman is a Broads and Books production. All 9 episodes are available January 10th. Listen and subscribe to Weird Woman on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. That's WYRD Woman, wherever you listen to podcasts.